I think that the entire selling process, regardless of how you are selling, is going to be less of this hypey value, this is what you get in it, and more of a like, hey, how can I help you make a decision how can I make sure all of your questions are answered? How can I help you to decide, is this right for you? Is this not right for you? Like, we don't want the wrong people to buy our courses because then they don't get results either. So I think there's going to be a big, that's going to happen as well. Hey, welcome back to Imperfect Action. This is episode 763. This is the third part of the 3 episodes of Biz Bestie Chat that I did with my friend Anita Siek, where we both went, in the last 2 episodes, we went behind the scenes and shared a little bit about our lessons from 2023 in our businesses. We did a little launch debrief on what worked in our launches in 2023. So if you haven't listened to those 2 episodes, scroll back and go and listen to both of those. We're pretty candid and pretty open about what worked and what didn't work in our businesses. And in this episode today, we are sharing our predictions for 2024. So what do we think is going to happen in the online business space? What do we think are going to be some of the big shifts happening in launches? And I'm really excited about this episode because Anita and I actually had very different opinions on one particular topic, that topic being social media. So jump in and listen to the episode and let us know. Reach out to us on Instagram. I'm there at stephtaylor.co. Anita is there at Anita Siek, Siek. And reach out and let us know what you think of our opinions and our predictions for 2024, because we both love to hear from you. So let's jump into the chat that Anita and I had. Hello, welcome back to our third little installment of, I'm going to call it Biz Bestie Chats. Maybe we could make this an ongoing thing. Yeah. So if you missed our last 2, we did a little recap of our lessons that we learned in 2023. We did a little debrief of our launches from last year. And then this episode, we're going to do our predictions for 2024. So Anita, do you want to kick it off? What do you think is going to happen this year?
You know what? I think one of the big key predictions, which to be honest, I think I mentioned this maybe even last year, but I think last year, big rise of AI and ChatGPT.
Oh, you stole one of my ones.
Chats, did I? That's why you should go first always. But anyway, big convos, right? Last year, ChatGPT, AI, ChatGPT is going to steal all our jobs. And then we realized, oh, wow, like it's actually, like it's great. Don't get me wrong. ChatGPT is really powerful advocate over here. But I think with the rise of AI and automations, we're craving human. Mm-hmm. We're craving genuine, I'm talking about like genuine human connection. And I think one of my biggest predictions is the fact that brands who anything in the realm of humanization, so I'm talking about whether or not it's personal brand, whether or not it is the element of just personalizing a customer experience, whether or not it is community, like building communities, I think is going to be one of my biggest predictions, because I think also in the last 2-3 years, more rise in competition as well. So I think anything that is going to get the one thing that is very hard to copy, which is human connection, is going to be, I think, a big focus for a lot of
Absolutely.
online.
So I wrote in my notes, one of my bullet points was AI is going to get smarter. So where can you be more human?
Oh, I love that. It's true. It's true.
Yeah, we literally have our brains work the same way. And also on that, I think it's not going to be just content. I think it's going to have a flow-on effect to courses, programs, all of that. I think there's going to be more of a need for the higher touch personal programs. I think there's going to be less of a focus on the $27, this is all of the information, or especially I think courses where they just load you up with information rather than giving you the action steps. Because if you want to go and find information now, it's only going to get easier. But I think where there is going to be this gap is you as the expert know what somebody needs to do to be able to implement and get those results. And there's going to be I think there's going to be a big gap in turning that new knowledge into action. And the things that live in the gap are that support, that community, the mindset support, especially, you know, when somebody's procrastinating on taking action on what you taught them, there's going to be a need there for that human connection of how can I help you to take that action?
Yes, 100%. You know what that reminded me of in terms of the second thing that I'm predicting?
Yes.
Value stacking is out. There's too much value stacking.
Okay, elaborate on that one,
out.
please.
I feel like that worked when we were all locked down.
Do you want to explain what value stacking is for our listeners who don't know?
All right, y'all. So value stacking, you're imagining a sales page for a course, let's just say. When you're scrolling, you make scroll. Instead of just being like, this is the course, value stacking is when you're like, you get this, but you also get this and this and this and this and this and this and this. That's value stacking. Like a hamburger.
And you get the steak knives.
Yeah. Like a hamburger. Like you also get the cheese and the bacon and a double patty and the mayo. Like it's value stacking. So that's what I mean when it comes to value stacking. Not to say bonuses are out. I think bonuses and having an element of a bonus will still be powerful. And I think templates, etc., may still be helpful. But I think this strategy and idea of value stacking, like a lot, may overwhelm people, is my prediction.
I agree. I think people aren't buying as much based on, oh, this is a really good deal. I'm getting $10,000 worth of stuff for $1,000 just because you said that it was worth $10,000. Like most of the time it's not, right? But I think bonuses play such an important role in overcoming objections. And I think they're going to only play more and more of a role in that. And also having said that, I think that the entire selling process, regardless of how you are selling, is going to be less of this hypey value, this is what you get in it, and more of a like, hey, how can I help you make a decision how can I make sure all of your questions are answered? How can I help you to decide, is this right for you? Is this not right for you? Like we don't want the wrong people to buy our courses because then they don't get results either. So I think there's going to be a big, that's going to happen as well. I'm going to add one of mine because now I've kind of piggybacked on both of yours. I think, so a lot of people started businesses in 2020, right? Yeah. That was now 4 years ago. They are, yeah.
Whoa.
So, yeah. And, a lot of them are now kind of getting to that messy middle point in their businesses where they are making an okay income, but they're just constantly pedaling and they can't seem to get out of that level where they are at right now. They can't take on more clients, so they can't make more money. They can't let go of clients because then they'll lose money, but then they might have some free time. So they're kind of in this, I don't know, like they need more clients to make more money, but they can't take on more clients. They're in this tricky situation. And I predict that they're either some of them are going to take the time to step back, put in the foundations, the systems, change the business model, do what needs to be done to grow and evolve. But I also think there's going to be a huge chunk of people who burn out and unfortunately give up. And as sad as that is, I think that's what's going to happen because we did see so many new online businesses pop up. And unfortunately, nobody's really equipped these new business owners with the basic business knowledge of this is what your business model is going to be like. Maybe think about how you want to scale. What's your vision for the business? How are the offers that you're selling serving that vision? All of those bits and pieces. And yeah, you kind of get to a point where it's a lot. And then you can either change something or give up, unfortunately.
That is such a good call out. I agree. I didn't even think of that, but it's so true because I think there's a difference, I always say, between being really good at what you do, and being well known for what you do. And just because you're very good at doing something does not mean you should necessarily start a business in it because you're soon going to find out that it's not just about being good at what you do.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like that's the standard.
Yeah, being good at what you do
is just the standard.
Absolutely. You need to also be good at sales. You need to be good at marketing. You need to be good at systems. You need to be good at finances. And if you're not good at all of those things, then you need to either learn how to be good at those things or you need to hire somebody who's good at those things.
100%. It's probably one of the biggest, I feel like hard truths that, I mean, even even me, right? Like probably you two and my husband, Dean, who all have businesses. It's just like, you're like, yes, I love to write. But like, then you start to realize, whoa, okay, being good at writing is not just the only thing that you need to focus on. There's so many other things that you need to consider. Okay, do you have the right product suite? Like, does the product suite align to also how you want to create impact, right? So I'm with you there. Yeah. I think it's a very important time, I think, for people to actually take stock and consider what their product suite or offer suite looks like and how they, not a guru out there being like, here is how you make 7 figures. Is like, what do you want? I think
absolutely.
Be a very important question to think for yourself. What do you actually want? What does success actually mean for you?
Yeah, like what does the next 5 years of your business look like? Not just the next month. Like it's so easy when you're starting out to be in such a short-term mindset, and fair enough, because you're really in like business survival mode where it's like, oh, this is how I'm going to keep the lights on for the next month or 3 months. You're not thinking about 5 years ahead, because the idea that your business might be around in 5 years' time when you're just starting out, that's a pretty big concept. But if you're not thinking 5 years ahead, then you're going to end up down a pathway of a business that's maybe not aligned with what you want in the long term. I've been there. I think you've been there as well. And it's a lot easier to figure it out or get it right the first time around than it is to go down that path and then burn everything down and start again.
Yes. I think that really closely goes with what are we up to? I don't even know. 3, 4?
I don't even know.
Bold prediction? I don't even know. I think this year people are going to be asking some questions, reflecting a lot. Yeah. And one of the things would be, especially because of the wobbliness of the economy, and you know what, we're still in the thick of it in a way at the moment, but it's like the last 3-4 years since the pandemic has been like, it's like a corkscrew on a roller coaster. But I think people are going to be asking a lot of reflective questions like, does my messaging still align? Does my offer suite still align with what I want to create? Because in the beginning of the pandemic, we had to like move quickly, which I think is both a pro and a con, right? Pro, because it's amazing how so many businesses pivoted and moved, and, you know, things that were in person were moved online, but it's like, then they were just like keeping it going to the best degree that they can. But it's like, I don't know, like, I feel like there could be now like, oh, is our old way of operating going to actually help us get to that next level now? Like, I think a lot of reflective work would be my next prediction. Reflective work in the realm of your brand, your messaging, your marketing, your offer suite.
I agree. Oh, absolutely. I think, and I mean, this might not apply to all businesses, but I think for most businesses, if you're still using the same messaging that you were using in 2020, it might be time for a refresh.
Yeah. You should always be tweaking your messaging.
Oh, always. I mean, I don't need to tell you that.
I bias. But definitely be tweaking your messaging to align with the current economy and consumer behavior, 100%.
All right. The next one I had on my list, which is actually the last one I had on my list, was I think there's going to be an even bigger shift away from social media. You might disagree. I know you're a bit more of a social media user than I am, but I like certainly in the last year, and this is a bit of a sentiment I've noticed as well with a lot of my audience, is people are starting to spend less and less time on social media, specifically when it comes to their businesses. They're like, oh, like I don't want to have to show up. I don't want to have to be on doing stories and doing carousels and doing reels and all of the things. So I don't know. I think there's going to be a bit more of a negative sentiment towards it. I've predicted this for the last 2 years, and each time I'm noticing it gets more and more negative sentiment. So I'm curious your thoughts on this.
Ooh, that's interesting. As in less of a preference for social media.
Yes. As in less time spent on it, less of a positive feeling towards it, more negativity towards it.
Yeah, my opinion here differ with you on this one. I think we're still going to crave an element of social media, but I think what I'm predicting is what we expect on social media might be different. I think gone are the days where you can just regurgitate the same old things that I can probably get on Google. I don't think reels are going to be as hot of I know slightly controversial, but I don't think reels and, that is going to be the hot topic. I do think that we start looking and we're more smarter with us using social media strategically to drive an audience offline. I think hopefully more businesses are going to start to see that social media a moment of silence for all the social media managers, but it's like, it's going to change all the time, like every single week, every single month, every single year, it's going to continuously change. But I think I'm predicting, and this goes back to what I was saying before, just more humanness. I think we'll still use social media, but I think the type of content that we would want to be consuming is more human-based content on social media channels.
Yeah.
And the other ones are a bit more, I don't know, faceless ones are a little, for me anyway, I'm predicting.
Yeah.
You may get lost in the noise.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I also think longer form content is going to be much more important. Anyone can create short form content consistently. Consistently it's a little bit harder, but creating long form content like you and I do with the podcast consistently is a lot of work, and it takes a lot of dedication, commitment to be able to do it consistently. So I think that's going to be what really separates the people who are serious about growing their business from those who are kind of just like, oh yeah, like I'm going to show up when I feel like it and then not for a while.
Yeah. Like a content business
Yeah.
in a way, even though you're not in I know a lot of people listening may not have be a content business or like a content writing business. But what I mean is more and more, and this is my final prediction, is the idea that the ability to translate what's in your mind into words out there. It could be voice. It could be a blog. It could be, I don't know, another long form ebook. I don't know. But your ability to translate what's in your mind out there into words is going to be key, because you can go on Google. You can listen to so many different podcasts, but your ability to inject in your insight and take one concept and translate it into 5 different formats, that I feel like is the secret sauce for so many great quality content creators like yourself, Steph, like being able to take one hero piece of content and having a system to then cross-pollinate that, instead of, just seeing all of these platforms as new. Hello, overwhelm. Hello, burnout.
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Any other predictions before we wrap up?
I think that's it.
Yeah, it's it from me as well. Awesome.
Oh, well, thank you guys for tuning in to what Steph has now coined the Biz Bestie Chats, where you guys going to hang out with us like a fly on the wall.
We're going to have to do some more of these.
Yeah. And so I hope you guys enjoyed it. If this is the first episode you've tuned in, as a little heads up, we've got 2 episodes as well for you to binge on, which is the 2023 lessons, learnings, failure and learnings, and also debriefs of our launches. What went well, what didn't go so well. So definitely tune in to those, but make sure you hit subscribe so that you can be all over any episodes that we hit live on. And thank you so much for tuning in.